All right. Now the Kroger Bologna Man story, it's when you hear the word Kroger Bologna, I don't want you to get like weirded out about the actual meat. Now I'll explain that in a little bit. But over the years, there's been two fatalities. There was a drowning accident in 1968, and in 1986, a camper disappeared from the camp property. And they have absolutely no clue to this very day what actually happened to that individual. No clue what happened. He just disappeared. No one really knows what happened to him. They've done everything from search and rescue coming in to searching the surrounding area, forest rangers, environmental conservation officers, state police, and even got to the point where FBI was involved. And at one point, they were even dredging this pond out here trying to find a body. Well, that was 1986. Nothing ever came of that. No one ever knew what happened. Jump forward to about 1993. Now, I'm a counselor out at Pine Ridge, which is during the day you look down the pond. It's the point on the left, and the pond gets kind of narrow down there. And at Pioneer, I was a counselor. I was 18. I was sitting at my campsite, and I was waiting for the kids to go to bed in their cabins, and I was sitting around the campfire waiting for them to kind of the noise to die down. And all of a sudden, this scraggly-looking dude comes walking out of the woods, and he just looks grizzled. I mean, he looks like he's been living in the dirt. His clothes are all kind of tattered and dirty. He's got this scraggly-looking beard, and he didn't really look that old. He just looked really like he'd been living in the dirt. And he came out and started talking to me, and we talked for probably a good 10 minutes or whatever. And normally in this type of situation, what we would do is, it's like considered an intruder, so you're supposed to blast your air horn, and the main camp staff would come out to take care of emergency. Well, I didn't want to freak this guy out. I had no idea who he was. So we kind of talked about 10 minutes, talked about just general things. And then after a while, I just got up and he headed back off into the woods. Very, very strange. Well, I just kind of stayed up for a while longer. I didn't go to sleep very well at all that night. And the next day I came in, I told the camp director, who was Todd back then, about this spotting, of the guy. And he thought it was very strange. He said, okay, keep it posted. Well, that next night I went back to my campfire, and or my campsite, and my campfire was lit for me. And that was pretty spooky. But there were like things written in the dirt, and under my bed there was like this handwritten note that was really in this really dirty, scraggly paper. And it was kind of freaky, especially when my campfire was lit for me. Well, the summer went on, not every night, but many nights my campfire would be lit for me. And then around the camp, other campfires were being lit for staff. And there was no way that one person could light a fire like a Pioneer and then also be lighting a fire at a Rock's campsite at the same time. They're just too far apart. Well, you're never supposed to leave a fire unattended, and the staff started getting really uptight about this whole weird thing going on. So we made it very clear. If you're caught lighting these fires and not keeping them attended, you're going to get fired. And this happened for a couple of years. It kept going on. Then in 1996, a guy named Roger, another guy named Mo, another guy named Todd, the camp director from before, they were doing this backcountry hike from Stillwater Reservoir to here. It takes about 30 hours to do the whole thing, about a day and a half. And they were coming through the woods, and they found this cabin. And they said this cabin looked like it was abandoned. And you went inside, there really wasn't much of anything in it. But they did find some bones and some clothing. And the shirt turned out to be an Oswegatchie shirt. They thought that was pretty cool, camp people. So they grabbed the shirt and they brought it back here. And they got back here. At the same time, they were working on a history video of Oswegatchie. They found the file on this missing camper. Well, just by chance, in the file, there was a picture of this kid the day he went missing. Just by total chance, they had a picture of him. And in the picture, he's wearing the same color and style shirt that they found. They thought that was pretty amazing. I thought that was a breakthrough. So they contacted forest rangers and the state police and everybody, and they launched this big manhunt for this cabin. By the time they got back to that cabin, it had been burned down to the ground. They have no clue who would have done it. Todd, Roger, and Mo guarantee that they did not even light a match while they were in there, so no clue how that could have happened. So the question is, was someone watching them from the woods, or was someone in law enforcement trying to cover the tracks of what was going on around there? So nobody really knows what the deal with that was. Well, the funny thing, after that cabin was burnt down, in 1996, those fires were stopped being lit around the property for a long time. But then it started up just a few years ago. And the staff still gets kind of spooked out about it, because sometimes there'll be fires lit in places around the property that are totally so far apart that somebody couldn't be taking care of both at the same time. And they like to joke. They say if someone was really out in the woods, someone like the Kroger Bologna Man, when you take your flashlight and you shine it into the woods, you can only ever see so far. If there's going to be a Kroger Bologna Man, he's going to be just out there just past the reach of those lights. And the other thing I'll say, when you hear the term Kroger Bologna, staff made a joke out of it. They kind of make me the Kroger Bologna Man. Kroger bologna is something you can get in town. It's this really good summer sausage it's really, really good stuff. Well, they say whenever there was a surplus of this Kroger bologna, it usually coincided with some sort of missing person in the area or missing campers. So that's where the whole joke of the Kroger bologna man part comes from. But, you know, the scariest thing I always find, and especially when I'm up here by myself and I'm walking around, whenever you look off into the woods and you think you might hear something, you shine your flashlight and you can't quite see what's out there, you just never know who could be out there watching you back. Okay? And that's the story of the Kroger bologna.